Hello, SHRM family. Welcome to another edition of the WorkplaceTech Spotlight. I'm Guillermo Corea, Managing Director of SHRMLabs, SHRM's Workplace Innovation Lab. I'm your host for this series where we shine a spotlight on some of the most interesting future of work topics, innovators, and disruptive technologies. Before we get started, a couple of quick announcements. For SHRM members, just a friendly reminder once again that the Workplace Tech community is live. This is the TripAdvisor for HR Tech, and it's available only to SHRM members. Please visit workplacetechcommunity.shrm.org. For workplace tech innovators and startup founders that might be listening in today, the application period for next year's Workplace Tech Accelerator is now open. The application deadline is November 13. This is the top workplace tech accelerator in the world, and it's a very competitive program to get into. You should submit your applications in today. For those of you watching on LinkedIn or other social media platforms, please share this live stream and tag SHRM. You can also use the hashtags SHRMLabs and WorkplaceTech. So let's get to today's topic. Fostering an award-winning culture extends far beyond recognition flags and accolades. It hinges on prioritizing the well-being of your employees. A workplace culture that values and supports its workforce's physically and emotional health while offering personalized employee benefits not only attracts top talent, but also nurtures productivity and innovation. According to MetLife research, employee satisfaction with their benefits fell to 61% in 2023, and 61% of employees say they are interested in certain benefits that their employer does not currently offer. MetLife research also shows the average number of employee must-have benefits has increased from 6.6 in 2020, so pre-pandemic, to 8.3 in 2023. So the big question is, how can employers keep up, and how can they tailor benefits to their employees' needs? So we have an exciting case study to share with you today and how one employer has tackled this problem. So joining us to talk about this topic is Kiley Armitage, Director of Operations at QLI. Kiley, thanks so much for joining us, and welcome to the stage.
Thanks so much.
So before we dive into this discussion, maybe you can share a little bit with the audience about you and your organization.
Absolutely, I'd love to. So at QLI, I work on the HR and accounting teams as the Director of Operations. And QLI is a nonprofit healthcare facility that helps people get to a meaningful life. So they've had a life-altering injury like a traumatic brain injury or spinal cord injury, and we help them rebuild their lives. So I have a husband and some dogs. We live up in northern Minnesota and love the outdoors. And I just feel fortunate that I get to work for QLI remotely.
Fantastic. Excellent. So let's dive in because we have a short amount of time here. So you already have an award-winning culture, right? And the company cares deeply about team members. But I'd love to learn a little bit more about some of the problems you are encountering at QLI regarding employee well-being.
Yeah, you bet. So healthcare is a tough industry to work in, right? Mm-hmm. We had the pandemic. I just shared a little bit about what QLI does. We rebuild people's lives. It's hard for us to, as healthcare workers, put ourselves first. And so me working in HR, I'm not even working face-to-face with our residents. I think of the majority of our team members, and all they do is give. It's why they're great team members at QLI. So we try really hard to make sure that our team members take care of themselves too. And it's tough. So a side benefit about caring about your team members is it really helps retain them. So having benefits that help team members prioritize themselves helps keep them healthy.
Yeah, and there's no question about it that healthcare is one of the industries that has a great deal of burnout, without a doubt. Just because of what you all do, right? So what led you to looking into technology to help some of the the problems that you were dealing with, and maybe you can tell us what wasn't working well with your existing employee well-being benefits or the programs that you were using.
Yeah. So I would love to say that we were looking into technology to help solve this problem, but that wouldn't be true, to start at least. So we try to stay involved in the community. Our community is so important. It's how we collaborate to solve problems. And so my CEO and I were on a chamber roundtable call. We were talking about childcare, another really tough issue to try to solve. And we were talking about what could we do in the community to make childcare more accessible and affordable for everybody. And when we mentioned the idea of having a flexible budget where our team members could use it on childcare if they're parents or something else if they weren't parents, Adriana, who we knew from being involved in the community, spoke up and asked if we could connect after the call. And that's when she told us about our startup, Maxwell. So at that time, we had an old benefit that was pretty unique and fun. It was called Special Benefits. So in that old program, we bought gift cards and our team members could buy those gift cards at half the cost. So it allowed them to maybe go out to eat somewhere where they normally wouldn't spend extra money, or we try to do some self-care stuff. But the problem with that benefit is it wasn't super accessible. So although the program manager tried to be available for our overnight team members and our weekend team members and everybody, it just wasn't super accessible. And sometimes there were financial barriers to even buying those gift cards at half the cost. So Adriana was able to help us solve all of these issues with her new solution, which thankfully was technology related.
Fantastic. And by the way, I'm glad that you brought up childcare as an example, right, of like some of the issues that employees are dealing with. As a matter of fact, this week, as I was listening, to the news, especially with what's going on right now, in the Congress, but one of the things that came up was how, a lot of these federal aid programs for childcare that were implemented during the pandemic are about to expire, and there's I think the number, if I remember correctly, that I heard was about 3 million kids are going to be affected by these changes. So having the ability or flexibility for employees to be able to grab some of the benefits that they may not be using and put it into childcare is very, very important. By the way, for those of you in the audience out there who aren't aware, Maxwell is the company that actually won our SHRM's Better Workplaces Challenge Cup this year. Just for those of you who aren't aware, the Better Workplaces Challenge Cup is our WorkplaceTech global pitch competition, in which we find the innovators that are solving a lot of the critical workplace challenges, and employee benefits is obviously one of them. So Kiley, maybe you can tell us a little bit about what made you pick Maxwell. I think you spoke a little bit about how you found them, how you were connected with them, but why is it that they're the solution for you and your team?
Yeah. So we love doing trials at QLI, test some things and just see how they go. And so we did a trial with Maxwell. We looked to see what else was out there now that we realized that technology could help us solve this problem. And I think just knowing that Adriana had co-founded Maxwell, it was minority and female led, someone local. The trial went super well, and we wanted to be able to support someone in our community. We also knew that this would help us solve the problem of our team members being able to use the money however they wanted and provide that flexibility. And not everyone else offered that flexibility.
Yeah, and one great example that I love to give people is, the gym memberships, right? Gym memberships. Mm-hmm. For as far as I can remember, gym memberships have always been, kind of like an employee benefit that's provided. Well, not everybody really cares about going to the gym, right? And some people might be interested in, instead of going to the gym, they would prefer to probably go to like a yoga studio. I don't know, people are different. So it makes sense to be able to have that flexibility for employees, right? So maybe you can tell us a little bit about, your experience with Maxwell, because this is one of the things that our audience always loves to hear about is actually, examples from their colleagues as to how they were able to find a solution, and, how is it that you've seen it pay off for your organization?
Yeah. I love the gym membership example. So, I mean, I think it's really paid off for us as an organization because Maxwell is flexible. I feel like I keep saying that word, but I mean, we were able to restrict how people use that budget to make sure they weren't using it on tobacco and alcohol sales. So being a healthcare organization that sees a lot of people who've been injured maybe from drunk driving, we want to make sure that we aren't encouraging our team members to use their benefit in a way that's against our mission. So that's something personal to us, but they allow that flexibility. I think another thing about Maxwell is, man, they set the bar high for customer service. So if you don't mind, I'll tell a quick story about their customer service. One day, I think it was last year, 4th of July weekend, one of our team members was out trying to use their Maxwell budget. So you can use your Maxwell budget on their debit card, which was something that we had collaborated with them on, and they were able to bring that suggestion to light so our team members could use that benefit even more flexibly. And our team member was out trying to use their Maxwell debit card to get some gas for their car so they could come to work, pick up that shift to get some overtime to meet their bills. And the debit card didn't work, right? Maxwell's a startup. There's going to be hiccups. We know that. So they messaged one of the co-founders, Steven, and Steven drove to that gas station, paid for that team member's gas. I think he even asked that team member if they needed anything else inside from the gas station. And he did everything in his power to make sure that even though there was a small blip in their technology, in their process, their service, that team member would be taken care of. That to me is not only customer service, and I know as they get bigger, they aren't going to be able to sustain driving to a gas station and taking care of our team members in that way. But to me, it's more about how they care about our people. I genuinely believe that Steven and Adriana and the rest of the Maxwell team care just as much about our team members as I do. And that is really, really hard to find in a partner.
Yeah.
So not only do they help re-recruit our people in that way, but it's also the fact that we've set the eligibility for Maxwell to be about at a part-time level. So you're only eligible for Maxwell if you're scheduled 2 shifts a week. And that has really drove a lot of our students who typically have only stayed on call and not scheduled to increase their scheduled hours. And so it's also been kind of like a internal recruiting tool to get people to sign up for more hours. So Maxwell's paid off in so many ways.
Fantastic. That and I love what you just said at the end, because that's a great way of showing how you were able to grab an HR technology and really implement it to solve what I call one of probably the top issue that HR deals with, which is retention and recruitment. So that is fantastic. So one last question here for you, right? I'm just throwing this out there. We're getting close to the end of 2023. What do you think is one big trend that's going to manifest itself as we head towards the end of 2023?
Gosh, with open enrollment coming up, I can't help but think about the increasing healthcare costs. It wouldn't be in HR if I wasn't thinking about that, right? So to me, that's what's top of mind. We have a self-insured plan, and so it's nice to be able to manage that spending and make sure that we're controlling premiums for our people.
Fantastic. Yeah, open enrollment is right around the corner. So this was a very timely conversation for sure. So unfortunately, that's all the time that we have for today. Kiley, thank you so much for joining us. A great and needed discussion. For those of you out there, we hope you enjoyed it as well. And if you'd like more information about QLI and Maxwell and how they are innovating the workplace, please visit maxwell.app or maxwell.app. Thank you all for tuning into the SHRMLabs Workplace Tech Spotlight. If you enjoy this live stream, please share it using the hashtags SHRMLabs, Workplace Tech, and SHRM, and visit us at SHRMLabs to stay up to SHRMLabs.com to stay up to date. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much for joining us.